Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? Happy hump day, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. I am Dan from Trading with Dan. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, we shall go over to those very precariously looking Bitcoin 4-hour charts. So Bitcoin on the 4-hour, we are making more progress, if you want to call it that, to the downside. Just to extend this resistance, old support and new resistance along here. You can see we're making some more moves to the downside. We are basically at that upward sloping trend line for the potential ascending triangle. We have bounced off that quite nicely. However, we are at the underside of this resistance that clearly is going to be difficult to get back above. But yeah, I mean, I guess a lot will depend on what happens with this fine looking asset over here. This is the S&P. It is looking absolutely dire. It is at a situation where it's in a crash zone, basically. Let's put it that way. It is in a Black Monday or whatever day of the week it decides to absolutely shatter to the downside. It is basically in and around the area, so trying to bounce off this at the moment. But yeah, like I said, something's gonna have to give here. All this crazy rhetoric, the QT, removal of liquidity, all that fun stuff, rates hiking, inflation, not looking too good. Again, I will just make that comparison though. This asset is basically at its absolute practically recent lows. Let's even say recent since basically mid last year. And if we do look at Bitcoin is still a healthier distance away from our lows since that point in time. So literally on a relative basis, crypto is actually holding in a little bit better than stocks, which is obviously good to see, because obviously we know that crypto is actually high risk, high beta, and should move more than stocks. So there is obviously a bid relative to stock markets coming into crypto, which obviously we know is because of the war on cash. And the fact that people are looking to a certain amount of people on the margins, and obviously prices are made up by actions on the margins, are obviously looking to diversify into crypto. Let's look at some other stock markets as well. Here's a Nasdaq or other indices, other bourses. They're called bourses. Nasdaq looking pretty disgusting here. Russell's going to be looking like literally terrible. Russell looking terrible. It's all looking terrible. The DXY, just look at that, unbelievable. We thought we were going to put in a bit of a top around 100, and look at that move. Absolute unsustainable, disgusting price action. That is either it's gonna break something and then gonna have to reverse. Something's gonna happen there. I mean, it ain't good. Even the 10-year is now coming off, which is not actually a good sign. This money now is coming into the bond market thinking, well, we'll take some of those 2 point something percent yields, because the actual traditional, well, the hedge for inflation that they used, that a lot of the market use, which is actually equities, is getting whacked anyway. Not looking good. Look at the ruble though. Ruble not looking bad though. Just on the flip side there, ruble not looking bad. The Japanese yen. This is again looking like this could potentially be putting in a top here, which this needs to do. But obviously this is happening because the yields in the rest of the world are now easing off a little bit. So they are then obviously not making the Japanese yield look, the spread between them and the Japanese yield be as wide. Therefore, there isn't as much printing of Japanese yen to basically buy unlimited bonds as required before. Therefore, less downward pressure on the currency, and i.e. upward pressure on it against the dollar, or the dollar against it, basically. Gold wrecked. Yeah, so there you go, gold wrecked. I mean, what else can we say? In this risk-off environment, everything looking good, gold getting sold as well, as traditionally does happen, because at the end of the day, if you need liquidity when the markets are going haywire, and obviously you can sell your gold for liquidity. Silver wrecked as well. Silver wrecked. Oil though, having a little bounce squeeze. It is still quite clearly though within this tightening range though. So will it get rejected at the underside of this trend line, come back down? This is starting to look a little bit like a descending triangle also. Obviously these are where the lows are coming in and lower highs. So yeah, this could break down, and I mean it ain't going to be a good thing in reality. It's probably going to break down. Well, maybe it will be a good thing if it comes off the back of an ease in the conflict, but I mean it's more likely to come in the back of obviously lower growth expectations. So not looking too good there. Oh, let's look at Tesla. Tesla getting whacked because obviously Elon has had to pledge a load of his shares as collateral, which ultimately are probably going to get sold as a block share at some point. They're going to that will get liquidated to cover obviously the loan against it that is used to impulsed by Twitter. But yeah, all credit to the man. I don't particularly like him, but I do like him trying to basically re-establish free speech on Twitter, because Twitter is literally an absolute disgusting lefty woke cesspool. It's absolutely disgusting. You just see these people on Twitter as well, these lefties. They are just things. I absolutely despise the left, and everything they do. And you know what? The reason why I realized, I looked in towards myself and I realized the reason why is because I have a very bad relationship with my mother, and because she's just a disaster. I won't go into too much detail, but she literally epitomizes the left and has caused me so much problems. She basically has never really had a real job. She's on like her fourth husband. She basically divorces people, gets some money. She does, in inverted commas, charity work for kids charities, which is where she actually met one of her current husband, and then she did actually subsequently drive these two kids away from their dad, and their mum has died. She drove their kids away from their dad, but she pretends to be all high and mighty, better than everybody else, but ultimately she's just a selfish, money grabbing, power hungry person, and it literally epitomizes the left. And I realize it's like, maybe it's not the left that I hate so much as the fact I see just all the trouble my own mother has caused me in what the left do. She exactly like that. She's nothing productive to society. She's only out for herself, but walks around in a super cilious, head aloof, thinking she's better than everyone else, thinking she's better than me, thinking she's better than other people that try and work hard. She's just a disaster. And she epitomizes the left. She absolutely epitomizes what the left are. They pretend, they virtual signal, they just pretend to care about these things when they literally don't. They only care about themselves, their own power, their own money, their own selfish whims, and they will literally lie, cheat, deceive, do anything to get basically ahead in life. Which is basically not what people on the right do. They just try and act relatively more normally, and that's why the left hates them so much. And because the left are so evil, manipulative and controlling, they do manage to gain a lot of power because they are ruthless with basically the lengths they will go, the lies they will tell, the deceit they'll do. Yeah, wow, what a rant. Anyway, there's some rants. But yeah, so if Elon is going to try and wipe some of that away from Twitter, then fair enough. I mean, this is why these establishments, these platforms have been taken over by the left. It's because the left are the biggest crybaby, tantrum, unreasonable people, and it's like the right aren't anywhere near as bad. So if you're gonna have to pick a side to appease, you just appease just the biggest babies in the room, the biggest bedwetting crybabies. So yeah, they are the pathetic left, the socialists, because they don't really have any real knowledge, or not knowledge, that's a bit far, but yeah, they don't really have any real aspirations to make real money. They just want the easy money. They just want the easy socialist money from other people's hard work, from the hard work of the, in inverted commas, deplorables, the people that basically do the hard work, and they just then want to basically get money off them to basically chase climate change. And let's face it, even climate change is just a means of manipulative control. They do not care about or even believe in climate change. It is just another way of them just to get more power, because they are lying and deceitful people. Anyway, end of rant. Nothing else really to have a look at here. We will actually look at Ethereum USD, obviously getting wrecked along with Bitcoin. Currently in and around this support area. It does kind of need to get above here. We could probably, yeah, it does need to get above here. But in the meantime, we could extend this trend line along, and yeah, we are still in and around there. So a similar trend line to Bitcoin. Obviously, this asset has been a bit stronger, so potentially forming more than an ascending, it's less of an ascending triangle, and more of an upward sloping channel. But that is, I wouldn't necessarily say that that makes it more bearish, because obviously an ascending channel is more of a bearish formation. It's just kind of because it has been relatively stronger to Bitcoin recently. But nonetheless, we can draw these, this channel in here, and yeah. So realistically, we do potentially have a target to the top side, which then if we do recover, market does recover, sentiment does recover, then yeah, we could potentially be heading to around that 3,900 figure, even if ultimately we get rejected, come down and come lower, as quite possibly could happen in the rest of this year. The Ethereum Satoshi pairing still kind of hanging in there, if nothing else, we'll be fine if it maintains this support here. Yeah, so that's all I'll say about that. It maintains the support, great. Ultimately, then it can bounce and get back through this resistance area. We'll just extend this along as well, and then yeah, once we are above here, it's relative blue skies. Maybe it will come with the merge, or just the more imminent nature of the merge. So when we get nearer to it, maybe we'll then start to get a bit of a push in Ethereum. So yes, let's have a look at Stochastics now, finally. Stochastic 4 hour is coming down, still got room to run, so no upward bias from 4 hour at the moment. 10 hour though is pointing up, moving up, try to turn that down, moving back up again, so this is obviously going to give us a bit of a lift. 12 hour actually looking to turn back up again here, so yeah, potentially could get going if we can get moving up from here. Say we get above 39,000, then yeah, maybe won't look so bad. Daily has turned back down again, so that is not looking good. By daily though, again trying to turn back up. 3 days coming very deep here, so ultimately it will turn back up, but where will the price be? Who knows? But it will be good to see if we can get a move up from here, and then the 2 day turn up, feed into the 3 day, and then we could get a very good rally. 5 day got plenty of room to run. Weekly not looking great here, and bi-weekly, well, it's low, but it is still angled to the downside, and along with monthly, which appears to actually accelerate to the downside now. So yeah, tough times. We know it's tough times in the market. We are just basically waiting for a potential nice little couple of months exit pump into the deep 50s. But yeah, let's hope we get this L2 22 summer. Obviously we've got Optimism already announcing its token, and then we'll have Arbitrum, ZK Sync. Maybe we can get then we've got the merge as well. So there is lots going on, and a lot of it is Ethereum specific, not necessarily Bitcoin. Obviously there's the big potential Bitcoin spot ETF that could help Bitcoin, and obviously the rest of crypto. But there are definitely catalysts, definitely factors. There is always the underlying and an increasing bid, I believe there will be, for cryptos, just because of government overreach, all the crazy stuff that's going on at the moment. Again, like gold, crypto is a form of liquidity. Crypto is often something that will get sold when people are struggling, on the basis that a lot of people maybe don't pay tax on it or whatever. So it is something you can liquidate rather than maybe something in your ISA or something like that. Not that you pay tax in your ISA, but yeah, if you draw the money out, then you're only limited to what you can put in. But whatever other kind of normal traditional finance 1.0 savings you have, crypto is probably the easiest to liquidate. So not ideal, but then when things do start to look bad, finance 1.0 just start to fall apart, maybe we do get an increasing move into crypto. But again, like I said, you can always get the move down first though. But anyway, that hopefully is a second half of this year problem, and like I said, hopefully we can get even if it's just an exit pump, hopefully we can get that up towards the mid to high 50Ks in Bitcoin, and then maybe it turns into more new all-time highs and beyond. We shall see. But we are living in very tough, turbulent times financially at the moment, and even geopolitically, I guess. And Yeah, so there we go, guys. Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I shall speak to you guys soon.